Today we're going to install a BedStep onto a Toyota Tacoma. First we're going to start by assembling the mounting bracket to the linkage assembly. And so on the Toyota Tacoma, we're going to start with the two large bolts in the kit, and we're going to install the washers underneath the bolts. And those are going to go through the mounting bracket. And we're going to install the spacer here and just make sure it matches the footprint of the mounting bracket. And then that's going to bolt on to the linkage assembly using a 17mm ratchet. And now that you've got these bolts snug with your ratchet, we want to use a torque wrench to get the final torque of 33 foot-pounds. Now that we've got this assembly put together with the linkage and the upper mount, we're now ready to install this onto the truck. As you'll see in your kit, the BedStep includes a step pad. We don't want to install that until we install this assembly onto the truck first. It just makes installation a little less cumbersome. Okay, now that we have our assembly together, we're going to remove the stock bolts in the truck, which are going to be used as our mounting bolts for the BedStep. You can see here there's 4 bolts. It's going to be these upper 2, and you use a 17mm socket. So you might want to use a good sturdy socket or a breaker bar to get these loose for the first time. Okay, now that we have our stock bolts removed out of the 2 upper holes there, we're going to use these bolts to install the BedStep linkage assembly. Now, just a note, these are really fine threads on the Toyota Tacoma, so when you go to thread these back in, just take a little extra care to make sure that you don't cross-thread these. Just a little tip, when you go to start these by hand, start with the bottom one first, and that gives you a little extra finger space. If you start with the top one first, it gets a little snug up there. If you have trouble getting these bolts started, one way you could do is just take a socket extension and put the socket on there, and it gives you a little extra space so you can get the bolt started by hand. Now that you got these factory bolts most of the way snug with your ratchet, go ahead and pull out your torque wrench, and you want to tighten these bolts to 66 foot-pounds. Now that we have our linkage installed, we're going to go ahead and install our step pad. And as you can see, our step pad is designed to have 2 positions, an outer board position and an inboard position. On the Toyota Tacoma, we want to mount it on the inner position. Because we mount it on the inner position, we want to take the weld nuts provided in the kit and install those in the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th position. And then go ahead and carefully install that, making sure not to lose the weld nuts when you do that. And now take your 3/16 Allen wrench and the 3 socket head cap screws supplied in the kit and tighten and install those in the 3 open positions on the bottom of the lower mount of the linkage. As you can see on our step pad, when you pull it out of the box, it's going to have this push label stuck on the corner here at this cornered grip area. When you deploy your step pad, this is the area that you want to push with your foot. This is the sweet spot of the BedStep that allows it to easily deploy. Pull the push, and it pops out. It's ready for you to step up into the bed. And when you're done with it, just give it a touch with your foot. Now your BedStep is ready for duty.